Today I'm going to add a Cognito service to my Angular app so I'll be able to use it to do registration and login with the AWS Cognito User Pool I set up in the last video. Let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to use the Amplify library to talk to Cognito. Let's go to our command prompt. I have two up. I have one that is just in my directory, my Bigfoot test, and another one that has ng-serve running, which is also in Bigfoot test. I'm going to do an npm install AWS Amplify. There we go. Just hit enter, and we'll allow that to install into our application. Once Amplify is installed successfully, let's go over to our editor and take a look at some code. I am going to add a folder to this source directory right here. I'm going to right click, new folder, and I'm going to call it environments. Environments. So we could have like prod, dev, stuff like that. I'm going to right click on environments and I'm going to add a file. I'm just going to add one file. We're just going to have one environment for this. I'm going to say environment. So environment.ts. What am I going to put in here? Well, I'm going to need a constant. I'll do export and then const environment. All right, you'd think I'd be able to spell that faster. Environment equals open and close curly brackets Cognito. Right, I'll do a colon there, open and close curly brackets again, and in here I'm going to need my user pool ID colon, and we'll just put an empty string in there for now. We got to get that, comma, user pool web client ID colon, and just an empty string. All right, now we're going to need to get this from our Cognito User Pool. Let's go over to our website and take a look at our AWS User Pool, Bigfoot Hunter users. And if you don't know how to do this, go to the last video. I set this up. And what we need in our user pools for our Bigfoot Hunter users is our user pool ID. And then I'm going to go back to my app, user pool ID, Control V. Right, so I'm going to go back, and then we're going to go under app integration. We're going to get this number right here, copy, and then we'll go to our Angular app, paste. There you go. We have our user pool ID and our user pool web client ID in our app. Now, while I was testing this Angular application for talking to Cognito, I ran into a warning, an error saying that I needed to add global to my polyfills. I don't have a polyfills file. That's for browser compatibility, but I can just add this to my index.html. I recommend you doing that too so you don't run into the problem. I'm going to go in the head section of the index.html. I hit enter, open bracket, script, close bracket, then I'll do var global equals global or window. Whoops, there you go, semicolon. All right, that should take care of that error. You might not run into it, but it doesn't hurt if it's there. Let's go to our command prompt now. There we go, and create a Cognito service so that we can talk to Cognito. So I'm going to do ng, G for generate, S for service, Cognito, and let's do a -- skip tests equal true. So we don't make a spec file for that. I can make this a little bigger so it's all in one line so you can see it. There we go. And we'll hit enter. Generate our Cognito service. And there it is. Let's take a look. Let's see. Open up your app. Here it is. Cognito service. In our Cognito service, I'm going to add an interface for the user information. So underneath import, but above where it says injectable, let's do export interface user. The I stands for the interface. We'll do a curly bracket. Now we're going to need email info, right? So that's a string. We're going to need password, string. We're going to need the code that they send back for verification. Make that a string, and maybe a name, string. Nice. Also, I think I'm going to add my imports up here because sometimes they don't auto add and that might mess me up. I'll have to scroll back up and then you won't be able to follow along as good. So let's just do that now. Import, we have something called a behave your subject. And we're going to get that from RxJS. What else? Oh, we're going to need our Amplify stuff. So let's do import. We got our Amplify library. There we go. Oh, it added some stuff. And then we're also going to use the auth too. This right there. And what else? Ooh, environment, because we need our Cognito User Pool info. So let's do import environment. There it is. Nice. Let's go down to the Cognito class itself. I'm going to add a private variable on the member level, on the class level, and I'm going to call this authentication subject. And that's going to be behavior subject type. And we'll do any here. That's all right. It's complaining that it's not initialized, but we're going to fix that. When we go to the constructor, inside that curly bracket, just open those up. We're going to do our amplify dot configure, open parenthesis, open curly bracket, hit the enter so we can get inside there. And we'll do an auth colon environment dot cognito. And we don't have to have the comma there, but let's put a semicolon here. This is still complaining, right? So we need this. I'm going to copy it because it was hard to spell. And right after our semicolon, let's do a this dot. Oh, there it is. Authenticated subject. I was hoping it wouldn't show up, or I was guessing it wouldn't show up. I was hoping it would, but guessing it wouldn't. And that's going to be new behavior subject, angle bracket, Boolean, and we'll just say false. Nice. So we're almost done the registration part of this. We're also going to put our login stuff in here too, our authentication for logging in. But I want to do registration today. So I want to get a public function. I'll call this sign up. And we'll pass a user in. And we'll have the iUser as the type. Do a colon out on the other side of that, close parenthesis. We're going to have a promise, right? So we know it's coming back, or it'll cause an error. And then of type any. Promise is complaining because we've got to return a value. So we'll do return auth dot sign up, and open parenthesis, open curly bracket, hit the enter, and we'll get our username colon username dot email. So the username is going to be our user email. And what else are we going to do? Password colon user password. All right, that's looking good. Let's put a semicolon right here. Another thing we're going to need is a function, well, I should say a method to confirm the sign up. So we'll do confirm sign up. And this is where we're going to get our token from our email, submitted into the website, and then it's going to be like, hey, this guy, he actually has a real email. So we'll say user, iUser as the parameter, colon, promise, and we'll just put any in there. Open curly bracket. Let me scroll up a little bit. It's complaining, promise is complaining because you need to return something. So we will return auth dot confirm sign up. Right, so we're basically forwarding our request to the auth service. Let's do user.email, comma, user.code. What else do we need? Well, we need a sign in and a sign out, right? So let's do that. Let me fix this. My indents aren't quite right. There we go. All right, let's get our, I'll just copy this. There's a lot of it's going to be, not a lot of it, but some of it's going to be the same. I'll do a Control V to paste it. Instead of confirm sign up, this one is going to be sign in. So we got registered. Let's go ahead and do a sign in. We're going to have a user, and that's going to be of type iUser. A promise, that's going to be the same. We are going to have this auth, but instead we're going to forward to the sign in to the auth. User email is good, but this will be user password, right? We're signing in. User password. But instead of a semicolon here, let's do a dot. Then we're going to do a little bit more. So open and close parentheses, another open and close parentheses. We're going to do an anonymous function in here. So you're going to use that equals greater than sign, and then open and close curly bracket, hit the enter right in between them to split them open. That way we'll get this authenticate subject dot next. And that'll be true. All right, let's put a semicolon here. We're going to need our sign out. Let's just go ahead and copy that. Control C, Control V, sign in, and this is going to be sign out. We are not going to need the user to sign out. Whoever is logged in is going to get signed out. Same here. So sign out. Let's get rid of this. And we'll get the authentication subject next. Let's make that false. We're also going to need a method to determine whether we are authenticated or not. So let's do a public is authenticated, open and close parentheses, colon, promise, this will be Boolean, true or false, and then open and close curly bracket. We'll do if this authenticated subject dot value, open and close parentheses, will return promise dot resolve true. And then else, let's go ahead and get up here a little bit. We'll return this get user. We're going to need a get user. We don't have a get user. Get user dot then double parentheses user colon any, close that one. We're doing an anonymous function here. Let's go ahead and do a open close curly bracket, hit enter. So if user, not then, that was for my Roblox. That's going to be a curly bracket. All right, we'll do return true, else there's no user, return false. Get down here, and then let's catch any errors. So we'll do a catch, anonymous function, and we'll just return false. Maybe we should put a printout there. Oh, we will later if we have any trouble with it. Let's put a semicolon. Don't forget, we need this get user. Let's go ahead and add that above our isn't authenticated. Let's say public get user, and we got another promise. Any curly bracket. It's complaining because we've got to return a value. Then we're just going to return auth.current user info. So this is going to have pretty much what we're going to need for both our registration page and our login page. The only thing we might have to add, like if they mess up their code, right? So if you send them a code to verify and then they don't do anything, it expires, or they mess up their login somehow, we're going to have to be able to refresh that. Now that we have our Cognito service so that we can talk to AWS Cognito, we can complete our login and also make a registration page. We're going to do the registration page first because we actually have to register a user before we log in. So I will see you in the next video. We'll start working on registration.